You're at work, and your receptionist informs you that there's a sheriff's deputy here to see you. He tells you that you've been served and hands you a temporary ex parte protective order. Your heart sinks because you see your spouse or significant other's name, and you realize that this has to do with the argument that you two recently had. What does this mean? Can you call him or her? Can you go home? What are the consequences if you send a text message just to say that you're sorry? What does this mean for your kids? What does this mean for your gun rights? Is this like TV? Yeah, it's like TV. You know what I'm talking about. Someone's ex is outside, so they call 911 and they tell the operator that their ex is violating the restraining order. In the next scene, the police come flying in with their lights and sirens, which leads to the ex being taken away in handcuffs. Well, that is the type of thing that can happen in real life when someone violates a protective order. So it's quite important for you to pay attention to the exact wording of the order that you were just served with. First, you need to understand a little Latin. Ex parte simply means that the order was issued without notice or evidence from the opposing party. So, if you've been served with a temporary ex parte protective order, then this means that the other side provided the court with evidence, likely an affidavit, that there was clear and present danger of family violence. If the other side provided the court with evidence that there is a clear and present danger of family violence, then that permits the court to enter other orders without any further notice to you. You must read the exact language of the order, because it would be impossible for us to list all of the possible prohibitions that the court could enter. However, we're going to go over some of the most common provisions that are included. For good cause shown, a protective order can prohibit you from communicating directly with anyone listed as a protected person in the order, except through attorneys. If the court prohibits that direct contact, then no, you cannot send the protected person a text message saying that you're sorry, and no, you cannot call them to ask them to drop the case. This happens a lot more often than you would think. It also typically prohibits you from going within a certain distance of the protected person, as well as within a certain distance of their place of business, school, or residence. Usually, it will also prohibit following the protected person, and prohibits specifically directing conduct towards a protected person or a member of their family or household that's meant to harass, annoy, alarm, abuse, torment, or embarrass them. If you're currently living with someone that's listed as a protected person, then they most likely filed a motion to exclude from residence, to request that the court exclude you from the residence. When they filed the motion to exclude, likely within the request for the protective order, they must have included an affidavit that provided a detailed description of the facts and circumstances that requires your exclusion from the residence. Additionally, they would have had to appear before the judge for an ex parte hearing to justify the need for the order for you to vacate the residence. So, if you're reading the temporary ex parte protective order that you were just served with, and it includes a provision that you are excluded from your residence, then do not go home. Call your family law attorney for guidance before you do anything. In the meantime, grab a hotel, stay with other family members, or crash with a friend. If you're in possession of a firearm, then you should immediately relocate it to get it out of your possession while the temporary ex parte protective order is in effect. The protective order specifically prohibits you from being in possession of a firearm unless you're a peace officer and actively engaged in employment as an officer. Additionally, and unfortunately, if you have a license to carry a handgun, then the protective order immediately suspends your license. Every temporary ex parte protective order is required to provide an expiration date. The expiration date can't be longer than 20 days from the date of issuance. There's a catch though. The applicant, or the court on its own, can extend the order for an additional 20-day period. Unfortunately, there is no limit on how many times it can be extended. It typically expires at the time of the hearing, so you can have an opportunity to defend yourself and prevent the temporary order from becoming a final order. Short answer is, they are bad. Violation of a protective order, even a temporary ex parte protective order, can be punished by up to 1 year in jail, as well as a $4,000 fine. Additionally, violation of a protective order can be used to obtain an additional protective order and/or extension of a protective order. A protective order is serious, and you should take it seriously. If you were just served with an ex parte protective order, then you should immediately contact a family law attorney to defend you. If you ignore it, it will not go away, and it will certainly affect your life. We appreciate you watching our video. If you know someone that was recently served with a protective order, or that's accused of family violence, then make sure that you share this video with them. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel, and check out some of the other videos that we've published. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. From all of us here at Matthew Harris Law, we appreciate you watching.